Cookie, what we do best. We got the recipe for success. We don't need sight to make something good tonight. We're on in the kitchen, we're gonna show you what we got. Full of the spice of life, we're stirring up the pot. We're cooking without looking. Cooking without looking. Yeah!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Cooking Without Looking TV show Autumn 2025 edition. I'm your host, Alan Preston. Sylvia?
And I'm your co-host, Sylvia Stinson-Perez. I am loving this cool air, even though I'm in North Florida, Alan. I'm getting a little bit of this fall, nice fall air. Warms up, but we got the leaves falling, and I was last week in the mountains with all the leaves falling, and I love me some pumpkin and cinnamon, so I'm loving that we're in this fall.
I love this slightly cooler fall weather too. Up north, the leaves on the trees change color. Down here in South Florida, the colors on the license plates change. Ho, ho, ho. Oh, come on now. Well, I agree about the cinnamon and the pumpkin, though. But for you and I in Florida, the leaves aren't turning color, at least not down here anyway. And we're probably only lost a couple of degrees in temperature, as you well know.
I'm getting some cool nights, but our two chefs today are going to get us totally in the mood for fall with their amazing fall recipes.
Well, I agree. But before we start, let's remind our audience that everyone on the Cooking Without Looking TV show are blind or visually impaired. Sylvia?
Well, we're going to start with Lee Cazares. Lee Cazares. So, Lee, welcome. Welcome, and tell us a little bit about yourself and your vision loss journey, Lee. You might be muted.
Uh-oh, Leah, turn your microphone on.
Can you hear me?
Now we can.
Nope, I was just getting to the right area. Hi, my name is Leah Cazares. And that is my child. She's very upset right now because she wants to talk about pumpkin pancakes. So I am going to be making or talking about making, I've made it ahead of time, but I will read the recipe and then show you the finished product of the pumpkin roll. And then I will tell you a second thing that we did that my child is very interested in talking about. Pumpkin pancakes.
Awesome.
So, to make the pumpkin roll, the ingredients, you're going to need all the ingredients, but part of the stuff that you need that's not food ingredients is that I use is two boiler pans, not just one, but two of them, the bottom halves of the boiler pans, and parchment paper. And the reason why I use two of them is because I put parchment paper on the top pan, fold it up under, and then I put that top pan onto.
Oh, Leah, make sure you're facing the camera so we can hear you.
Yeah, sorry, I stepped away to grab pans. I put parchment paper on the top pan, fold it under, and then put the top pan onto the bottom boiler pan. That way it holds the paper in place and the paper doesn't come off.
That's a great idea.
That is a trick that I figured out. So then I'm going to put the pan to the side. I'm coming back. So
while you're working on all this stuff, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your trip through blindness? I know our audience would love to hear a little about you.
So when I was about 8 years old, I had retinal detachment and lost my vision. And I was very much into cooking and wanted to know how to do things. So I'd go and figure things out in the kitchen. And then when I was in high school, middle school and high school, I went to a residential school, and during some of our stuff, like my classes, I did I cooking and got to learn how to do a little bit of this and that. And then when I was an adult and moved out on my own, I would call everybody that I knew, my grandparents, close friends, ask them how to do things, and they'd tell me, and I'd go into my kitchen and figure out. I'd go grocery shopping, and one of the people that I found that was very, very helpful is the butcher. I'd go to the store, go to the butcher, and say, I want to make this dish. How do I do it? And they always would tell me how to cook the meat or how to prepare things, and they would know where everything was, and they'd say, let me take you over here and help you get this spice and this and that, and this is how you're going to want to do it. And I'd go home and do it, and I just, Google things and just get in there and figure it out. And sometimes things came out wrong, and that's okay. I'd go back in and try it again until I got it right.
I love that, Leah. I do. That's really cool. Yeah, so it is about just figuring it out. That's what cooking is about. But I love that's really interesting that you went to the butcher and they were
Yeah,
helpful. Yeah, awesome.
yeah, butchers, they know a lot. So
Say, we've heard your youngster in the background.
yes.
Tell us a little bit about what it's like being a mother who's blind.
Well, she is about to be 4 coming up soon. And right now she's in that stage of, I want to help mama do everything. I want to help mama do laundry. I want to help mama clean. I want to help mama cook. And so right now she wants to help mama do the show. And she was talking about how she wants to tell you guys about how she made pumpkin pancakes. So, and I'm like, okay, well, we're going to talk about pumpkin rolls and then pumpkin pancakes. And so she's really wanting to help. But I love her enthusiasm, and I hope it continues on. And just, I try to get her involved as much as I possibly can. And, there's some things that I don't let her do, like put things in and pull things out of the oven, just because she's not quite 4 yet. She's going to be 4 in December. So I think that's still something that's a little out of her range, but she thinks that she can do everything. One of her favorite, and she loves to read books. So we have a ton of books. And one of her favorite books is Just Like Mommy. And she loves to read that book. Just Like Mommy.
I'm
That's
a little
so
bit curious.
sweet.
Does she have normal eyesight?
No, she wears glasses. She was born with bilateral congenital cataracts, which means both eyes at birth cataracts. She had eye surgery when she was a month old to get her cataracts removed, and they did a very good job. And she wears glasses and goes to a visually impaired preschool, and she can see pretty well, and she runs and plays and helps with everything.
And my other quick question, which residential school did you go to? Daytona by any chance?
Oklahoma.
Oh,
Oklahoma
okay.
Blind.
Okay. Just curious.
Yeah, no, I grew up in Oklahoma. I
Okay.
lived in a
Awesome.
lot of different states.
Yeah.
Oh, and what's your youngster's name? I don't think you've mentioned that yet.
No, her name is Chloe Ann, all one word, not Chloe, not Ann, it's Chloe Ann.
Chloe Ann. Okay.
Yes.
Chloe Ann.
Which her name has a whole thing to it. So my sister's middle name is Ann. My mom's middle name was Ann. Our grandmother's middle name was Ann. And my sister had a daughter and named her Caitlin Nicole. My middle name is Nicole. And I told her, well, if I ever have a daughter, I will name her Ann after you. And well, I have a daughter. And so I told my husband, like, we have to have the name Ann in her name. And so he thought of the name Chloe Ann as her first name. And I was like, I love it, but let's do her middle name Noelle, which is a Christmas version of mine, which is Nicole, because her birthday's in December. Well, her due date was going to be in December, so I was like, we can make it Christmassy, and she is now Chloe Ann Noelle
Oh.
That's very
Cazares.
nice.
hmm Okay, let's hear about the pumpkin roll.
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay. Let me get to.
So are you doing this from scratch, Leah?
I made it ahead of time, and I will read the instructions and then show you the finished product.
Okay.
So the cake, 3/4 cups flour,
Mm-hmm.
1/4 teaspoon salt, 1/2 teaspoon baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon cinnamon, a teaspoon of ground clove, 3 large eggs. And what I like to do with the eggs is crack them into a cup and then beat them with a fork and then add them in because it just makes them a little bit easier. 1 cup sugar, 2 2/3 cup pumpkin, like pumpkin puree. And you're going to have some leftover pumpkin, and then I'll tell you what to do with the leftover pumpkin in a little bit. 1 cup crushed pecans or preferred nuts. I usually do the pecans. And that's the cake. And then the filling is 8 ounces cream cheese, room temp, 1 cup powdered sugar, 6 tablespoons butter, 1 teaspoon vanilla. And then the extra stuff is parchment paper, baking pan. I use 2 boiler pans, like the bottom half says boiler pans. Foil or plastic wrap is optional. And then powdered sugar is optional. So the directions is preheat oven 375 degrees. Line the boiler pan with parchment paper, and I'm gonna go grab them real quick to show you why I use 2 boiler pans. So I have 2 boiler pans here, and I have parchment paper on the top, and then I have the sides folded down and tucked under the top pan, and I use the bottom pan to hold the parchment paper in place. And then I pour, whenever I mix all the cake stuff together, and I pour the cake batter on top, and the parchment paper won't move or shift or cause the batter to spill because it's held in place by the bottom pan. And then
That is such a good idea.
Yes.
How many times have I had that parchment paper moving around? Oh, so annoying.
and
Keep
then
going. Yeah.
so I mix all the cake ingredients together in a bowl, pour it onto that parchment paper, and then I like to add the pecans into the batter and bake it in, or you can sprinkle it on top and let it bake in. The pecans are kind of what you want. You can either put it in the filling or put it in the cake. I like to do both, but I add the pecans into the cake mixture and put it all together. Pour the cake batter onto the parchment paper, spread it over evenly, make sure it's all nice and even and not piled like too much in one area. Sprinkle nuts on top or have it mixed in, whichever one you ended up doing. Bake in the oven for about 15 minutes. I did 15 minutes and then checked it, and it looked like it needed another 5 minutes. So I put it back in for 5 minutes. That happened this time. That hasn't happened to me before, but it did this last time. So I just wanted to say that that's okay if it needs an extra 5 minutes, just 15 minutes and then check it, and 5 minutes more if need be.
So,
Remove.
so Leah, let me ask a question here. So what kind of texture are you looking for? Kind of a firm, like it's done, or
Like you want the cake to be done, not gooey and not hard.
okay.
Just like a regular
Mhm.
soft cake
Mm-hmm.
all the way. And whenever I first pulled it out, there was like a big gooey patch on the
Yep.
corner. So I'm wondering, if maybe it was like something to do with the oven. I'm
Mm-hmm.
blaming something other than me. It wasn't my fault. It was the oven's fault.
And it's thin, right? That's why it doesn't take so long because
Mhm.
it's a thin cake. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Can,
only
can you
takes like
test
15,
it with
20
a
minutes.
toothpick like you do a regular cake?
You can if you want to, but I just touch it because it's so thin. It's like
Mm-hmm.
not even half an inch thick. It's a very thin cake.
Okay.
I've
So
been talking with people about that is that you've got to pull your cake all the way out of the oven so you're safe. But then just taking your finger and just tapping the top, you got to make sure you're really on the cake, not near the pan. But
right.
it really does, it is a great way to test doneness.
Mm-hmm. And I don't have toothpicks, so if I need to poke a cake, I usually just use like a butter knife. And it works
Mm-hmm.
the same.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you remove the cake from the oven, you want to use some, I use like the little square pot holders. One out. And I use a couple of them and I grab the parchment paper on the short end. I'm gonna go grab the boiler pan real quick to show you. So I grab short end, the short end, and I roll it up. I'm gonna put the pan down.
Are you supposed to wait a little while for it to cool down at all?
No, you want to do it
Ah.
right away. As soon as you pull it out of the oven, you want to roll it up and then put the cake with the seam part down so it doesn't unroll. And you want to do it while it's hot because what happens is that when it is hot and you first pull it out of the oven, it is flexible and you can mold it into that round shape that you're going to want to make it into a pumpkin roll. And then you let it cool down. And once it cools down, usually I cool it down like on the counter, or I don't put it in the fridge because you don't want it to sweat. And it'll make the cake moist. So you can put it on like a cooling rack or just whatever. I usually just leave it on the pan, seam side down, and just leave it like on the stove or counter somewhere. And once it cools down, however long that takes, an hour or two, and then you unroll it. And when you unroll it, the cake might break apart a little, which is fine. But while it's cooling down, you want to do the filling. Hang on. The filling is the cream cheese, the powdered sugar. Let me go up to where the 1 teaspoon vanilla, 6 tablespoons butter, 1 cup powdered sugar, 8 ounces cream cheese. So I put all that in a bowl and I use an electric mixer to mix it. That way it mixes it way better than by hand because the cream cheese is very thick. And then I take that mixture and I spread it over the cake whenever it's unrolled, and I spread it all over the cake evenly. And if you really want more pecans, you can sprinkle more pecans in on top of the filling. And then I take the cake and I roll it up without the parchment paper and roll it up. And like I said, if the cake kind of breaks up, that's okay, because the filling, the cream cheese and powdered sugar filling that you just made and put on will glue it all back together. And then I take that parchment paper that it was baked on and I use that to kind of wrap it up at the end. Like after you roll the cake up into the tube that it becomes, or the cylinder shape that it becomes, the roll, then I just take the parchment paper and wrap it around the cake to help keep it like wrapped up. And then I stick it in the fridge, and you want to store it in the fridge because of the cream cheese. Let's see, let me go back down. And you could keep it in the fridge up to a few days.
I'm still waiting for what you do with the extra pumpkin puree.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
I'm also
I'm
a
getting
little bit
there.
foggy about rolling this thing up. When you very first take it out of the oven, you roll it up without anything in it just to get it in the right shape. Is that right?
You want
then
to
you
roll it up.
unroll
You
it?
can roll it up with the parchment paper still on there.
Okay,
And-
right.
Right, and just roll it up and then just let it cool down. And then you unroll it and put the filling in and roll the cake up without the parchment paper.
Okay, you got to roll it a second time, and that's
Yes.
when it might break up a little on you, but that doesn't matter because the stuff in the middle will stick it together like glue.
Right.
Good. Okay. Okay. All
Are
right.
you guys ready? Let me show you the cake and I'll tell you about the leftover pumpkin puree. So here is the finished product. What's left of it, because my neighbor came over earlier today and took a slice. She says it's delicious.
I'm thinking you could probably slice that up, couldn't you?
Yes.
Little
You can slice
slices
it up.
of it?
And it, yeah, you can do, let me get, I can slice. Ooh. Can you see that? Is this a
Well,
good?
I can't, but I'm sure our sighted audience can.
Yes,
And it
I
says-
can see it. We can see it.
And it has pecan and cream cheese and all that stuff. I'm tempted. You guys want to take a bite?
Oh, I'd love
I
to
want to
try
buy.
That
Ah,
sounds good.
it's very good.
It's one of my favorite things, and I tried to make it one time, and now I know what I did wrong. I waited for it to cool before I rolled it, so now I know.
No, you have
Yeah.
to roll it as soon as you pull it out of the oven, and you have to have the hot holders
Mhm.
because it is hot, hot, hot. And just roll it up. Let me put this over here. And then I'll come back and tell you what to do with the. So this is what I did with the extra pumpkin puree. I made pumpkin pancakes. So my daughter was eating some of them just a few minutes ago. I don't know if you can, for those who can see from what I was told, they're a little bit of an orange color to them.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And that's because of the pumpkin puree. So I do the just add water pancake mix, and I added in the pumpkin puree and water and mixed it up and then cooked the pancakes. And what I do with pancakes is I like to do about 3/4 cups of batter at a time. And I do 2 minutes on one side, 1 minute on the second side. But I found for whatever reason, I don't know if it's because of the pumpkin, I had to increase that 3 minutes on the first side and 2 minutes on the second side. So that was something interesting that happened this time with the pumpkin pancakes. But what I did not do, and I want to do next time I make pumpkin pancakes, is I want to put crushed pecans in with it. I think it'd be good with crushed pecans in the pumpkin pancakes.
I'm thinking chocolate chips, Leah.
Okay.
Oh, I'm with you on chocolate chips.
But okay, I want to go back to orange pancakes. Like I can't see what color they are, but I've been told that they're orange. I think that's cute.
Yeah.
So do the chocolate chips and whatnot, make little faces on them. That'd be so
Mhm.
cute.
Yeah.
All right, Leah, thank
That
you
was
very
awesome.
much. That was absolutely wonderful. Now we're going to meet Amy Wilson.
Hi,
Amy,
how are you?
welcome. And please tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, Amy Wilson, or I go by Amy SP Wilson on my different social media accounts. I have been blind, visually impaired, whatever however you want to identify it, for over 30 years of my life. I was diagnosed when I was 10. So if that tells you close to my age somewhere in there.
Somewhere around
But-
19 or 20, right?
Exactly. 21. 21. We got to keep it legal. I think my Stargardt's, that's what I have, is to the point where it potentially won't get any worse, but it has certainly been a journey. I remember the days of 2200 vision and all that stuff, but
industry, and it's okay to go.
But I've definitely got to the point where I've accepted it, and my children are definitely accepting of it, which in my mind is interesting because my children are so used to me and how I do things that when they meet other blind people, they have a different expectation than the rest of the world. So I always find that to be an interesting thing when meeting children of blind parents. But what else about me? I am a Hufflepuff, and
A what?
a Hufflepuff. Harry Potter.
Oh, okay. All right. Isn't that one of the houses you had to put on the little
Yes.
sorting hat? Very good.
Yes. Yes. And so my family, we embrace the whole Harry Potter theme and stuff like that. But it has gotten me where I like my food a little adventurous, and it was probably before my Harry Potter days, but I have to kind of tie this in because we were talking about colored food. Something I've been known for doing is what I call Sunday morning breakfast, to where I will make the gravy pink, the biscuits purple, the green, eggs are green. I've even colored oven roasted potatoes in different food coloring, but it looks like an artist paint palette threw up on a plate. Is you cannot color bacon, okay? That's just sacrilege, and you can't do it. So, but bacon was there, so we had the brown represented too. But and not only all that, but I run a non-for-profit called Safety Positive Foundation, where we are introducing paths of safety for the blind and disabled communities.
Oh, okay. Tell us a little bit about that.
Safety Positive Foundation has been around since March 3rd, 2023. So we're about two and a half years in, but we try to offer choices for how people can learn safety, whether it's virtually, online, through our weekly tea times. So I also love tea, but we have in-person trainings that we offer. I've done coaching for people and all sorts of stuff. And the nice part is we are the organization that works hard and plays always. So we have ducks. People get to, we give away ducks when we're at exhibit tables. And that's a little interesting, but it does tie back to safety, I promise.
Real ducks?
Yeah, rubber ducks.
Oh, oh, okay, okay. Okay, Amy. Tell us, what is it that you are preparing for us today?
So with all the colorful whimsy and stuff like that, I am making Rice Krispie treats with a twist. So a little over a month ago or so, I decided I was going to have a Harry Potter weekend. I was going to watch all the movies and do all the stuff. Well, I was using one of my new favorite tools, AI, to help me come up with a plan. And it offered a alternative to the classic Rice Krispie treats. Now, typical most Rice Krispie treats, it's butter, marshmallows, and Rice Krispies. So I've got those three. But we're making it with a magical twist, to where not only am I gonna, of course, add some food coloring, but we are going to, speaking of which, I'm gonna start heating up my butter. We are going to add Pop Rocks to the top of it for a little extra fizzy pop. Because if you don't know it's there and you go to take a bite, it would definitely be an unexpected sensation going on. That's
Are these
sure.
the same Pop Rocks that I remember from, I'm going to say, the 60s, maybe 70s?
Yep.
They were around in the 80s too, Alan.
Yes.
Well, yeah,
they still
started
been
out a
around.
little
Yes.
earlier.
One, you can get them in different flavors and stuff.
Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah, they still got them.
You can't cook those, can you?
No, and so
Okay.
I wouldn't think so, yeah.
one
Can't
of the
mix it
things
with
that gave us a
anything
tip
liquid either.
for the Pop Rocks is you gotta wait till it cools down, because if there's too much moisture, it will activate the Pop Rocks, and then you're not getting any of the Pop Rocks fun with it.
You get Rice Krispie shrapnel.
Yeah, yes, yeah, that's pretty much. Okay, so I got my butter in the pan. I'm gonna add my marshmallows that I've already measured out, and it's about 4 cups.
So, Amy, I saw the other day that Renee posted, and I don't know if you had said this, but to actually brown the butter because it gives that whole different flavor, that brown butter flavor. I don't know if you're doing that or if that was Renee's idea, but I love that idea.
So you can absolutely brown the butter, and that's kind of what I did whenever I
Mm-hmm.
had the butter in there just by itself to
Mm-hmm.
activate it to get it going.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because butter's awesome by itself, but and I've seen more stuff where they're talking about um, making the different brown butters that you could put in different stuff like creamers even.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
I had a delicious brown butter frosting recently and it was so good.
Okay, so once you pour your marshmallows in, it kind of gets to go, and you definitely got to start stirring and stuff. I am gonna get my gel food coloring, and I've picked purple because purple is my favorite color. If nobody knew,
I like purple.
so well, I did a thing last week or week before where I was all like, if nobody knows, my favorite color is purple, or I've decided my favorite color is purple. I was like, and you can scroll on now. Like that was all I had to report.
Mm.
Well, with no color perception, I guess purple's a nice color.
I remember what purple looked like, and it's my favorite too.
Uh,
So purple. I was having a conversation with somebody the other day because they were talking about like using the language of light and dark, and then we got to thinking about it. Well, instead of saying light or dark, you could say warm or cool, and I think that purple represents the warm and cool together because it takes the red from the warm and the cool from the blue to mix it. So purple would be the best representation of that.
is purple the same as violet?
Yes, it is. Yes, it's a shade of
Because that's
purple.
at the bottom edge of the visible light spectrum,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get into ultraviolet. I think
Okay,
she was a cartoon character, wasn't she? Oh, terrible humor. We're waiting for the butter to melt.
we got butter melted. At this point, it's going in with our Rice Krispies. I'm not going to wait around for it to cool or anything, just because I learned last time when I did this that when I did that, it did not like to come out of the pan. So work fast. And I admitted this in the earlier part before we were recording, but this is like the second time that I've made Rice Krispie treats.
Wow. I grew up having those all the time as a kid.
I remember them too.
Yeah, I had peanut butter ones and we'd put chocolate chips and I think you could even put some of that pumpkin puree.
I bet you could.
I love my mother, but she was not the homemaker type, and so when I had my son, I went overboard with like making after school snacks and all that kind of stuff, any kind of desserts that he wanted, and of course my current husband was all like, "Yeah, we're not doing that anymore." Okay, so Rice Krispies are mixed together quite nicely, much better than my first batch. And then I have a pan, like one of those, what's the word I'm looking for? Oven glass pan things.
Like a Pyrex.
Yeah, something to that effect. So we're just gonna pour.
And did you put some butter in that Pyrex?
Yes. I had done that earlier and I just
So it doesn't stick. Yeah.
Yep.
I've not done that before. That's why I know you had to do that.
Could you use parchment paper in there?
You could.
You can, but it sticks, and that's such a sticky thing that it's kind of better not to.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a novice at this. You guys all, let's see, you live to cook. I just cook to live.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and my pan is, I picked one of my smaller pans for this one, sadly, but it's at the brim and it's all even. It also says be gentle in the pressing down too much because it will, what's the word I'm looking for?
Take the air out.
Yeah, it'll make it where it's more dense. So,
Uncrispy.
but you can throw it into the freezer. You can throw it in the refrigerator. They say you can leave it out too. I'm sitting here snacking on little pieces that were on my hand. So
And
sorry.
now where are the Pop Rocks coming in?
Okay. Here we go. So we got this. We got our dish. Now that I keep give me a second. Let me get paper towel. It's everywhere.
That's why I just always am working by the sink so I can wash my hands always.
I
You
do
know,
too.
the smart thing probably would have been to grab some like latex gloves or something like that when dealing with this.
Yeah, but then you can't have the deliciousness of it.
But you don't get the right feel through the gloves. At least I
Exactly. Yeah, we got taste test as we go. Exactly.
That's all right.
Okay, so I got this. We're gonna call it red flavor. It's one of the red packages.
red flavor.
That could be cherry or strawberry.
Yeah, it's either cherry or strawberry. It's one of the two.
Hey, it's getting close to Halloween. It could be blood.
There we go. The Rice Krispies that I already have pre-done are orange. Just FYI. So now we've got a mixture between, purple and orange Rice Krispie treats for this household. And then I'm going to layer my Pop Rocks. Now, when I start doing stuff like sprinkles or Pop Rocks, I'll start in one corner and then I move around the tray just to kind of make sure I'm getting all the things. But it says to cover an entire tray, it's about 3 or 4 of them total.
3 or 4 bags.
Yes,
Okay.
because they're personalized little.
Yeah.
They're little packs. Yeah.
I haven't seen them in years. I wasn't aware they were still selling them.
I wasn't
There's an oldie that I found in the 90s that I have not found really since the 90s, but it was called Nitro Cola. And that's
I haven't heard of that one either.
99.9% caffeine. The liquid was brown. Like, this can't be healthy.
No, it doesn't sound like.
I don't think Pop Rocks are particularly healthy, but I don't think Rice Krispie treats are either.
Exactly.
Is that what makes them so good?
It's all the gluten. Okay, well, I don't think mine is going to be as heavy on the Pop Rocks as they're suggesting, because I've used one package and I've covered just about all of it.
It's probably enough.
Yeah. Might do this little area that I'm going to try first, just to see.
You level them up with your fingers?
Huh?
Do you level them up with your fingers?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get an idea if they kind of roll around a little bit on top of the Rice Krispies.
No, it's like little. It's smaller than sprinkles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is what we're thinking here. So I'm gonna pull this out. Like I said, this was my first batch, so it's not sticking quite like the other one is. But I've got the Pop Rock, so we'll give it a try. Hold on. Ah! There it is.
Are they real Pop Rocks?
Yeah, like it's so weird. It's cherry flavored, so I got like cherry Rice Krispie treats. Basically, is what it kind of tastes like.
But you know what's fun is that you used AI to find a fun recipe. And I think that's a thing that we could all like kind of do now. I use Alexa a lot, and which is probably essentially AI. But it's fun to just find new recipes and create.
It absolutely is. I've used it to meal plan stuff out. So what I like a few weeks ago, I made 4 casseroles. So that way every Tuesday I just pulled out a different casserole. I've also meal batched a bunch of like lunches for me and threw them in the freezer. So whenever I need to have an actual decent lunch where I'm not just snacking on stuff all day, I can pull one of those out and And AI helped me to come up with the entire, like, ask me my preferences, all that stuff.
Mhm. You want to show us the final? Maybe you did, and I can't see
No.
it. So
Yeah, no, I don't think she actually showed it to us
There you
yet.
go.
okay,
I'm just showing it in the tray.
okay.
Orange in the tray. Got the rocks on it.
And the pop rocks are in there too.
Yeah, but you can't really see them because it's so.
They're just flecks, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Very cool. Do you
Yeah.
like them? Are they good?
they're good. The thing I got to thinking about it earlier is I think you could also ball these up too, like make
Oh.
like Rice Krispie treat balls and then
Yeah,
roll them
that's
in
a
pop
good
rocks.
idea.
Like,
Oh yeah.
or like one of the things I got to thinking about, because with my first batch, I think I added a little too much butter, but I'm like, you know what? We could throw this in the oven, harden it up a little, and then potentially use it as granola or something else.
Mhm.
So just because you think like, oh, it is not what I wanted, doesn't mean it can't be turned into something else.
It's a nice
Great.
thing about cooking. It is very flexible.
Yes, that's one of the beauties of it.
Awesome.
And to be on the safe side, I will say, when cooking, if you're not, if make sure you got a fire extinguisher. In my early days of cooking, I caught a couple stoves on fire. So my dad, whenever I get into an apartment, he would make sure that there was a fire extinguisher every time.
Oh, and that you know how to use it too.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Leah and Amy, for these great fall recipes.
Thank you for having us on.
Yeah, it was great. Renee, are you ready to tell us who won the Any Day Cookware this month? I'm still using and loving mine, gotta say.
Oh, Renee, are you there?
No, I was muted. One of the few times in my life, right? I saw a couple people come in. I've got everybody, except for Chef Deborah Erickson. Chef Deborah, if you don't know, is from the Blind Kitchen.
Mhm.
And she's got some amazing gadgets. If you're
I
blind,
saw an awesome one being posted today on her Facebook with the pie cutter. Mhm.
yeah. Deborah, do you want to be entered? Deborah. Well, let's see. We'll put her in.
Yeah, we could use that pie cutter. Boy,
Oh,
the way I slice pie.
and Carrie Kierstead. Carrie, do you want to be?
There I am.
Okay.
There you are.
Carrie
Couldn't find it.
Kierstead, is that how you say your name?
Deborah Erickson?
Oh, that's Deborah, and then
She got herself unmuted
I
now.
did. I
Deborah,
cook
do
better
you
than
wanna
I
be-
technology.
I threw you in. Do you want to be entered?
For what?
It's the Any Day Gourmet Microwave Cookware worth $168.
And it's fabulous to cook with.
All glass. It's really cool.
It's wonderful.
That sounds wonderful.
Okay. Alrighty. So you're in there. Is Carrie still here? Carrie? Well, okay. So Erica, I put yours in too. So here. All right. Let me see.
She's swirling around. She's not looking.
Yeah, I'm choosing with not looking. I'm looking at my ceiling fan. It needs to be dusted. Okay. Here we go. Amy, you won.
Amy!
Yay!
Congratulations.
Amy. So Amy, you emailed me your dress and I email it on to Kayla and she gets one off to you.
Okay.
You're gonna love it.
They are so great. Hey, Erica.
I was actually wondering if you could make the Rice Krispies in the microwave. I don't know. It might be worth trying.
I bet
Maybe.
you could.
You could.
Well,
Recipe.
the butter you can melt, right?
Yeah. I think you could melt it.
Well, it'd be like the chocolate, like when you heat up chocolate in the microwave, you got to check it every 30 seconds. It'd be the same thing with the marshmallows.
Actually, I don't know if you can do the marshmallows because if you've ever microwaved marshmallows,
yeah.
they get hard and they taste so yummy. It becomes this like crunchy thing that's delicious.
Yeah,
if you haven't done it, do it.
Wait, if you microwave Peeps too.
Yeah, they become this magical thing that's amazing. Yeah. Alan. Alan, take us home.
Marshmallows, that actually sounds pretty good.
But you do it only like 10 to 15 seconds. Otherwise, it'll blow up.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. You know, I bet if you asked one of your artificial intelligence people, I bet they might have something you could do in the microwave with Rice Krispie treats. Maybe. I don't know.
Absolutely, you could.
I don't know. We could ask. All right. Thank you very much, Leah and Amy, both. And congratulations on winning the cookware. And thanks to all of you for joining us today on the Cooking Without Looking TV show. Sylvia?
If you would like today's episode or recipes or past recipes, just go to the website www.cookingwithoutlooking.wordpress.com. I think it's tv.wordpress.com. There we go. Cooking Without Looking TV.wordpress.com.
And if you would like to enjoy today's show or past shows, please go to our Cooking Without Looking YouTube channel. And remember to like, subscribe, and share. Sylvia?
You can also check out the podcast, which has great guests on Spotify, iHeartRadio, or anywhere you get your favorite podcasts. We're also available on all Alexa-enabled devices and the Victor Reader.
And you can donate to Vision World Foundation to help us with our mission to change the way we see blindness. Just go to our website at www.cookingwithoutlooking.tv.wordpress.com and click on the PayPal link near the top of the page. For more information, you can also call area code 305-200-9104. Sylvia?
Don't forget to join us in November. I'm sure we'll be cooking up something delicious. Thank you so much for being with us today. On behalf of myself, Alan Preston, and Renee Rentmeester, and all of us at the Cooking Without Looking TV show and Vision World Foundation, bye for now.
Hey, and don't forget to order your official Cooking Without Looking apron.
You want to be wearing that for Thanksgiving prep for sure. It's got pockets.
I've got one and I love it.
Mm-hmm.
You want to see what we do best? We got the recipe for success. We don't need sight to make something good tonight. We're on in the kitchen, we're gonna show you what we got. Full of the spice of love.